This is my September trading recap. I'm Manir, also known as Ghostwalk Trades on Twitter, and I also run Unbiased Trading, an agency where we backtest and automate your trading. Now, for this particular video, in case you're new to these sort of videos, these are going to be more focused just on me reviewing my personal performance. It's really just to have a good recollection of everything I've performed in the past, and also it holds me accountable to my own trading by publishing these videos every single month, whether I like it or not. Now, for a bit of background, I'm trading two different types. So I'm trading small caps, which is anything below $1 billion market cap. And I'm also running a portfolio of around 8 to 9 algorithmic trading strategies on the futures markets. Now, jumping into my small cap results, I'll say they were a bit underwhelming this month. I didn't take that many trades, and overall, I'm kind of trying to slow down the amount of stock selection on small caps and increasing the amount of size I take on each particular trade. We'll see how this goes. I'm still experimenting in small caps. I've definitely reached a level of consistency, but definitely not as anything as good as my algorithmic trading currently, at least in results and performance. So this month I made around $3,189 from trading small caps. The biggest profit was $2,353, and I took a pretty sizable loss this month of $1,326. It was with some slippage because I got caught out of a halt. Normally my stop loss in percentage terms is around 12%, give or take, and I think I hit around a 15 or 14% stop because of the halt. I have upped my size a small amount. I was trading last month, I believe, around $1,000 per trade. It's around 1,200, 1,100 this month. Everything else seemed okay. I only took, as you can see, 7 total trades. 4 of those were winners, 3 of those were losers. Pretty much the exact same for consecutive wins and consecutive losses. It was a bit of a slow month, personally, at least for my stock selection, and I think that kind of shows also in results. But you can't really force opportunities out of the market, so I'm grateful that I didn't force any trades or anything like that. However, as I've been trading for longer now, that has become less of an issue. Definitely in the starting days, I would have found this month incredibly difficult to not force trades, because there still were gappers on the day for some of these days. I just didn't partake in a lot of them. I will say my win rate for this month was very low. Having basically a 50% win rate, give or take, was quite low. Normally I'm in the 65s to the highest possible around 72, give or take, percentage win rate historically. So this was definitely a low win rate month, but it was also just not that many opportunities that I was really taking. Now, to get into the actual good part is the futures algorithmic trading performance. This is all run through NinjaTrader 8, and I'll kind of go through each particular one. So I got inspired actually from Jacob Amaral when he did his recent video on his best performing strategies, where he just kind of gave the key similarities basically. So I want to do a bit of that as well with this video and provide a bit of value. I know a lot of this is mainly just me going over performance, which inherently isn't incredibly valuable. I hope it gives you guys some inspiration, but as with anything, trading is incredibly difficult, and it's taken like 5 years to get to this point anyway. So for return wise, I returned 11.92%. I'm going to give the classic disclaimer here that this is not infinitely scalable. There is no way I would be able to scale this to $1 billion capital and keep these sort of returns per month. I would have incredible amount of slippage sizing up that hard, especially because a lot of these strategies are intraday. So yeah, please keep that in mind. This is just for my current equity level that I'm trading. Now, my drawdown was around $9,000 this month, which represented about 4% of a drawdown. It was not my worst drawdown. It was okay. I'd say I did increase the amount of capital I was using with my algorithmic trading strategies, so it was higher in dollar wise compared to percentage than I've previously experienced. But I would say still overall very solid, at least compared to my historical kind of like back tests and modeling. We had 252 trades in total, and with a return to drawdown ratio of 2.84, which is pretty solid, at least in my eyes for this month. The amount of trades I'd say is still quite high. We did actually have quite a volatile month. I'm actually going to show you the overall market on a daily chart just in a bit to illustrate that. It was quite volatile, so I think that's where a lot of these sort of trades happens. I got triggered on a lot of long trades on that kind of rebound on SPY and ES and NQ, so that's probably where a lot of them came from. I do want to continually try and reduce the amount of trades per month because I'm not trading like a market making strategy or something like that. If I can get just more predictive signals and reduce the amount of trades, that lowers my total amount of commissions, which also increases my just net returns. So that is the goal, but obviously I have to do that slowly and not just make a radical change and then completely ruin performance. For a bit more detailed about the trades, we can see about 134 of those were winning trades, 118 were losing trades. We had our largest win of 2.5% and our largest loss of 1.26% on capital. We had 10 consecutive wins and 7 consecutive losses. Luckily, compared to small caps, consecutive losses, if I had 7 in a row, that would have really hurt. For me personally, because I'm not looking at this on a daily basis, I'm so pleased that I get to trade algorithmically and just using code, because that 7 consecutive losses I didn't really feel at all. Obviously, I felt maybe the performance after I'd looked after. Well, normally I look at end of day performance every day, and then I normally have a deeper look every week/month. I try and not make changes, abruptly per week. Obviously, I have risk measures in place with alerts and things like that, and broker max losses and things like that, just in case anything went haywire. But at least on looking returns, deeply every day, that's definitely something I try not to do. For the average bars in a win, I thought this was sort of an interesting statistic, is 34.75. Actually, just to give you a bit of context, I know normally I show these for Excel, but I'm currently testing out a software where I can import all my trades, and it kind of gives me a portfolio analysis. I'm not going to promote it yet or say if I really like it. I'm still testing it out, and I'm looking through different options, and I might just even create my own, just code up something in Python or C#. So I'm still toying around with the idea, but if it looks different, that's probably why I'm just using that kind of platform at the moment. Now, I had 9 strategies running, which was great, but only 7 of them actually took trades this month. It makes sense because 2 of those strategies were more daily based strategies where they would hold overnight, and they just didn't really take any trades this month, because obviously it's only 30 days, which means it's not that much time for it to really take a trade. I was diversified across NQ, ES, GC. GC was actually super nice because GC had a nice rally recently, so that was quite cool. And then crude oil and a couple others. Now, as I was mentioning, a nice big win came from JC. I don't think it really affects performance that much on the strategy perspective. So I've blurred out the names of the strategies because a lot of the names I write as a detailed name of what the strategy is. So I remember when I'm looking over either all the files of strategies, I can just quickly see, oh, right, this strategy uses this sort of logic. So obviously I blurred that out because I just don't want to leak all the logic for them. But as you can see, per strategy, the net profit was overall well diversified. Obviously, we had a bigger winner here with 5.36%. And I'm actually going to go into what was the kind of key parts of that strategy. For net profit across the board, I'm actually quite happy with. I wish maybe I could have diversified this a bit better, but still, obviously, most of the time, 1 month or not, there'll be a strategy that really performed well because of market cycles, and then other strategies didn't perform as well. So to be honest, that's kind of fine. Averaged out over the year, you'll kind of see it diversify. Yeah, now I wanted to show you this because I thought this was really cool to just see, and normally it's kind of annoying to do in Excel. It's just to see the long or short only view of the portfolio. So as you can see, definitely I'm getting a lot of my performance on the long side. I think if I zoom in here, it's about 9.5% just came from the long side itself. And then additionally, it was about 2.6% came from the short side. I do want to increase the amount of returns I can get on the short side. I will say that I'm probably underutilized there, and it's also really good for just robustness of the portfolio if you can be capturing short and long moves. Now, for the actual overall market, we can see here, I'll highlight it, from September, basically here, we had a steep kind of drawdown until around the 9th of September, and then we kind of rallied the rest of the month. We did have a decent amount of volatility on each daily bar you can see here. We had a couple gap ups as well, which was really good for some of my strategies. And that's also why a lot of the performance this month came from the long side, just because we were rallying for a good amount of time. Though this was an amazing short opportunities across those couple of days, which is also why I'm kind of upset that I underperformed, at least in the portfolio, on that side of things. Now, for some key similarities between all these strategies, this isn't just my best performing ones, these are just kind of across the board of the 9. A lot of them use multi-time frame analysis, so several of them incorporate, checking either higher time frames for confluence / like a fractal design, where I'm testing for the signal on a higher time frame than executing on a lower. A good amount of those do that. For risk management, obviously all of them use stop loss and take profit orders. I will say this isn't necessarily a need. Like Jacob Amaral was going over some of his strategies, how they don't have take profit orders, and a lot of them use time, for example. I think that's awesome, and I am introducing some strategies that use just time itself, but all of them currently do have stop loss or take profit orders, but a lot of them are using something dynamic, such as like ATR and things like that. I will also say sometimes a lot of the take profit orders don't get hit, and it's just exiting at end of day, because most of them are intraday strategies. So I guess it's not fully even between take profit orders and time as well. For indicators, most of them integrate at least one or two indicators, and a lot of them really are just focused on identification of trend or range. That's primarily the purpose of those indicators. They're not really doing much else. For trading hours, a lot of them trade only intraday with no overnight holds. This just lowers risk overall a lot, at least for me. And currently, I'm not the best person at creating swing strategies. I've created a couple that have worked well, mainly using like the IBS indicator and things like that. But at least my realm of current expertise is definitely more intraday, at least currently with my own portfolio. Now, a big one is simplicity. So most of them only have really about 2 to 4 parameters that are optimizable, and they're often around core principles. So I'm really focusing on strategy types like momentum, mean reversion, trend following, those sort of things, and focusing on those core principles and then building strategies around them using different techniques, different time frames, different markets, all those sort of things. Now, for the best performing, it actually only used candle open, high, low, close logic. So all of it was just candle kind of like patterns, I guess. Incredibly simple. A lot of them were, well, it was only using one candle pattern, and that candle pattern is quite a, I guess, popular-ish pattern. It's mainly built around reversals, and also this was a very interesting thing, was that this is the only strategy that has a max loss on the day. I obviously have a max loss in the sense of on the whole portfolio. That is more of a max loss for like the worst case ever. Like if we had an incredible big down day, or if my algos were submitting tons of orders, something like that. That's really for what the portfolio max loss is for. But this strategy in itself actually had a max loss on the day that it can only go down to. This is something I haven't implemented on other strategies, and it's something I'm still testing out. I back tested it for this particular strategy, and it did seem to improve performance. So this was the first month I actually took it live with that particular feature enabled. So we're going to see if that holds up. Could just be a lucky month. Obviously, it's only 1 month, so very low sample size. But we'll see how that goes, and I'll let you know throughout the other months as well. This also uses a high time frame of about the 30 minutes time frame. It does obviously do a walk forward optimization, meaning that it optimizes, I believe it's every 90 days. So that time frame can change, but for the most part, it's normally using higher time frames. That's where better performance has been found. And I think this has also been a trend with a lot of my strategies, is they are intraday, but let me just have a quick think. I don't think I have a single strategy that's running on the 1 minute chart or anything really below like the 5 minute chart. I don't believe. So for the most part, I've found the best kind of realm between the 10 to 60 minute range for intraday strategies, and normally those aren't holding for that many bars, give or take. But that does depend. Like I think that actually be a good analysis. I might do a video on this in the future, is like what timeframes would work best for me. Obviously, a lot of it could just be heavily selection bias and overfitting if I just showed you timeframes, but at least it's been a good observation that I've noticed that most of the successful strategies I've built have been on those particular timeframes. But I do know other particular algorithmic traders that have had immense success with daily timeframes and things like that. So I think it does depend sort of on the trader as well, of how well you are crafting strategies for those particular timeframes. I hope your month went well, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.